Okay, thank you, Dave. Good morning, everyone. So I'm the general manager at Salinas Valley Basin Groundwater Sustainability Agency. As a long word, so we'll use SVBGSA going forward. I'm so grateful and happy to see all of you here. It's been great turnout at those events. I have two passions, water and local government. And I think just a little bit about the local government, the way how we've done business, and it's collectively way, it's not this agency. We've been kind of in our own kingdom, and the way we thought about transparency is you come to us. We have board meetings, that's the transparency. I'm thinking about it the other way around. We have to come to you because you're busy, you have lives, you have elected people, appointed people to be your representatives. So a better way to really connect with you and hear back from you is trying our best to come to you. So these workshops are something we're trying. About water. So you probably realize from my name and from my accent that I'm an immigrant. I came here about 30 years ago, so I've lived in this country longer than I lived in my birth country, my home country, Estonia. And going back to that time, I grew up in a farm-to-table setting. And for me, it did not mean that my father was a chef or we lived on a farm. It was in 1970s and 80s, and Estonia was part of USSR at that time. And this big, wonderful country as it claimed to be, it had hard time putting food on the table for people. So there was not much in the stores. That meant that it was left up to people to grow their own. It did not matter if you lived in the countryside or if you lived in an apartment. My family lived in a small town of about 12,000 people. We were in a high-rise for that town. It was a 5-story apartment building on the 5th floor. And we had a little patch, 5 miles, 5 kilometers, 3 miles out of town. So what that meant to us as kids is that was part of our life. And it's the latitude of Estonia is about 58. So it's far north. It's very seasonal. So there's maybe 4 to 6 months of growing and farming season. That had to be maximized. So we were, as kids, we knew after we get home from school, there are many nights that we need to get in a car, and there was one car per family, we shared it. We had to go and make sure we water or weed or whatever needs to be done. So one thing from that is the uncertainty we're talking about today, it was very much part of our daily vocabulary. And there's no irrigation systems because it rains throughout the summer, but it does not rain reliably. So one thing that people talked at the dinner tables, birthdays, funerals, was weather, nonstop. And so it kind of gets old as a kid, but that was kind of the cycle. Is it gonna rain? Do I have to get out there and make the hay this weekend? Can I push it into the next? What happens with picking potatoes? Is it gonna rain too much? So it was always, is it too much or too little? So uncertainty has been around us. It's nothing new. And we talk about it today as more of the big droughts, the big changes. But you all know very well whether we can't control it. It is what it is. So fast forward, we are in 21st century, and water has been regulated in California for century. 1914 was a water rights for surface water. A century later, 2014 was when the state enacted Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, because groundwater had not been regulated. And water is so essential. So it is a commodity. It has a price, it has value, it has cost. It needs infrastructure to move it around. It functions in a very regulatory environment. So definitely it is a commodity. It is a resource. It's a natural resource. And it's one of those, just every time, the more I'm in the water, I work in the water, it amazes me. It's a natural resource that is renewable. There is no less water today in the world than there was 10 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. It just happens to be in a different place where people would want or need it to be. So it's a natural resource, it's a commodity. It needs to be managed. It has been managed. In Monterey County, there's many agencies, private and public, that manage water. So why wasn't it enough? Why did we need another agency, public agency, that collects fees from you and is trying to find its place and its value? The main reason is all of those entities that we've had before and have still, they have their own jurisdictional boundaries that do not align with how water flows. So the basin, it's a shared resource. If somebody puts a straw in it, it will impact another straw, either a mile down the road or further down. So that was kind of the thinking behind. There needs to be another entity that looks holistically, big picture. How are we all impacting each other? And that's our agency. So we are a small agency. We have big jurisdictional boundary. It's the basin, Salinas Valley Basin. There's 6 sub-basins in it. Why do we exist? So I think for me, I'm trying to really be of value to all of you. It's to be the convener, to do things like that, to get people that otherwise maybe wouldn't meet and wouldn't sit down at the same table, to get them talking. Maybe first, get them listening to each other. So we can help in that. We are the collaborator. So we are joining the different agencies to help to do projects together, to kind of look at maybe where they are not aligned, where what they do actually jeopardizes another agency. So that's SVBGSA. And then we can be a source of information for you. I would like, these days people go to Facebook, they go to Nextdoor, they talk to their neighbors if they have a question and they want to know what's going on. So my vision is for this agency, we can be a trusted source of information. If you have a question, if we are not the one that actually has that information, we can get it for you. So thank you for being here today. It's going to be a fun 3-4 hours. Please stay with us, and I'm going to turn it over to Abby.